everyone, Joe here. This is just a little how-to video. I very often get asked how I actually fit the race tyres that I continually talk about, considering they're not clinchers. We use tubular tyres, as you can see. So what I'm going to show you today is how I actually set off to fit my own race tyres, which in this case is for the very first World Cup race at 24 Hours of Sebring. So I'm actually going to fit the front tyre that I'm going to use in Sebring. The first thing I'm going to do is show you the tyre, which you can see here is a tubular type tyre. And for anyone who's not familiar with it, the tyre, this particular one, is made of cotton. It's 22mm. And the first thing that we need to do with it is we need to add a little extension to the valve. So when the tyre comes originally, the gold piece, this valve is inserted here at the edge, however not long enough. So we use a little tool that is very tiny in its shape, as you can see. And what we do is we remove the valve core from the original stock. We insert the little extension which the Centis people very kindly provide, and we reinsert the original valve core on the end of the extension using the same little tool. So the top one with the round is for removing the valve, bottom one here is for tightening in the extension. So now that we have that done, the first thing that I'm going to show you is a tubeless rim. As you can see, this differs greatly from clincher rim in that it's completely smooth and it has no edges, and the reason for that is to apply this tyre to that rim we need another little piece of equipment, and that comes in the form of this, which is a two-sided tape that sticks this tyre to this rim. This particular one is designed for heat, so it is. So I'm just going to show you what this looks like. It's just like a little roll of simple two-sided tape, but I can assure you it's incredibly effective. So what we're going to do is we're going to not get our fingers stuck, and we're going to start off here at the valve hole. And what you do is the little piece that overlaps, you start fitting the tape halfway over the valve hole, like so. Instantly sticks to the rim, as you can see. So the secret is to pull it in sections and run the air bubbles out of it with your thumb. And do it right down in to the depth of the rim, all the way around. Pulling the tape tight so that it has as little air trapped in it as possible, and it's getting maximum adhesion to the rim. This particular tape as well is also designed for carbon rims. They do make it for alloy rims, but in the world that we live in today, almost everything is carbon. So we arrive back where we started at the valve hole. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to have to cut the tape, and then we're going to start to stick the tyre. So we're back at the valve hole, so we're now going to cut it. Pair of scissors, snip it off. Now just be a little bit careful whenever you're putting the roll away, and what to do, rather than damage the tape, just fold it over gently like so and put an edge on, so you can get it again to do the next width. Okay, the next thing to do is, again, make sure that you double check that all the air bubbles are out right down into the depth of the rim. That's very important. Now, another thing to be very careful about while you're doing this process, do not rub too tightly because you will burn in the fronts of your fingers, which is also a very uncomfortable thing to happen. So just make sure the air's out and come all the way back to the valve hole, like so. Then, one of the most tedious jobs of all is to pick the top piece away because it's stuck so tightly already. You have to peel back the top. This is what it looks like in underneath. It's like a weave. And we're going to pick this one off now. Again, this is the most tedious part of this job. Just picking this away. And when you've got clumsy fingers like mine, it doesn't really help. So I'm going to actually just use the scissors here to pick this top piece out. There we go. So you can see yourself that the stickiness is incredibly effective. So here we are now with two ends, like so. This is where we start the process. Now, next thing to be very careful about, not all, but some tubulars are directional. So please check the direction the tire needs to follow in first, and that will normally be illustrated by a little arrow on the side wall of the tire. Okay? This particular tire is non-directional, so we don't have to deal with that, but again, some of the tires do have. I'm going to open up the valve, and we're going to insert it into the wheel. Just turn it around here so you can see. So, find your way down through the hole, like so. And as you can see, the valve is correct length to come out of the rim. Now this is where it's very important that you make sure you have the two ends of your tape here, because once we start to pull this down tight, all of a sudden your tire is actually starting to take shape to the rim. So I'm going to turn it over like so, and we start here, two sides. Now I'm going to go down here to the floor just so that you can see. So I'm going to hold it on the floor. You hold the tire out here to the two sides, and you start pulling downwards, and you slowly make your way to the very bottom of the wheel. And you should end up like this. And what to do is, when you get to the last bit, make sure it goes out over the edge of the rim like that. So that's the start of the process of fitting the tire on. The next thing we need is a good old-fashioned track pump. Insert it onto the valve, like so, and we're going to semi-inflate the tire. See it going up already. Now, not too hard, because we're going to centralize the tire on the rim first of all, because you've got to remember it's sitting on a shiny tape at the moment, all the way around. So you make sure that you centralize it. And the best way to actually check that you're centralizing the tire correctly is in these particular tires, especially the high quality ones. You'll see that the base tape appears out because it's slightly larger than the rim, and we do the same on this side. So when you see the equivalent base tape on both sides, it's a good indicator that your tire is bedded into the center of the rim. You can also move it around in sections like this here as you go along, and just try to locate it so that it feels like it has dropped down into the crevice of the rim. And we'll come back up here. We're going to unhook the pump for now, and this is the process now in relation to taking the tape out. And this is where a lot of people come unstuck, because they try to take the tire off the rim to take off the tape. That's not how you do it. Because the tire is semi-inflated, what you do is you take this size of a gap and you just edge it over the top just to start the process. You let the tire fall back into that crevice that you've already seated it in, and you go along in small increments of about 3 to 4 inches at a time, and you extract the base tape. And try not to do what I've just done, which is break the tape, because that sometimes can become a problem. In this particular instance, I think we're going to get away with it. Okay, so we're going to reinsert the tire back on here again, and we'll continue on. Don't try to take too much at a time, because the tire will slide off the rim on you. So continue all the way around. All the way around. And all the way around. to the last bit, be just careful, grab the two ends and lift it out. That. Just tire. Just check that the both sides, that the bead is the same, and then we can go now to fully inflate the tire. Sometimes, before you do that, you can just spin it to see that the central part of the tire is in the center. And don't always remember that a tubular looks a little bit wobbly before it gets fully inflated, because it's just the nature of how the tire is constructed. It's very different to a clincher. So, insert the pump again. And the good thing about race tires is the sheer level of pressure that they can withstand. This one, we're going to put the 8 bar just to get it to stick. Just under 120 psi to allow it to stick. Tighten up the valve, like so. And if you prefer, add a little cap, which actually protects the valve end, so it does. So, when we spin it, there's your tubular fitted, ready for sea break.